All right, so today we're going to be taking a deep dive into this idea of jealousy,
Uh-huh.
specifically uh, how this one couple, Jake and Sarah, kind of work through this tricky emotion.
Yeah.
And I think you'll find their approach,
Yeah.
pretty relatable,
Interesting.
and maybe even, learn a thing or two from them.
Yeah, what I think is really fascinating about Jake and Sarah is how
Mhm.
they use humor to kind of disarm this potentially
Right.
tense situation.
Yeah.
And right away, like right off the bat,
Yeah.
Jake poses this hypothetical question to Sarah.
Mm.
He's like, "How would you react if you saw me with another girl?"
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
So, like, putting her on the spot.
Yeah, totally. And instead of getting all defensive,
Yeah.
Sarah just kind of plays along with it. She's like, "Oh, I'd probably just say hi to the girl and bye to you."
That's funny.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's actually a really clever response,
Yeah.
because it shows confidence. It sets a boundary without creating this big confrontation.
Right.
She's not letting this hypothetical scenario
Right.
rattle her.
Right.
She's like, "I got this."
Yeah, like, I'm good.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And she doesn't stop there.
Oh.
She goes on to say
Yeah.
that, she would probably introduce herself to the girl
Uh-huh.
and just casually drop these little reminders about their relationship.
Oh. Okay.
Like, "Oh, we're actually going on our anniversary trip next week."
Oh, sneaky.
Yeah, exactly. And
Wow.
it highlights this really subtle
Yeah.
but important point about how we deal with jealousy.
Uh-huh.
Instead of just reacting impulsively,
Right.
she takes a moment to kind of assert herself
Right.
and assert the relationship in this strategic,
Yeah.
even playful way.
It's almost like saying, like, I see you,
Exactly.
and I'm not backing down.
Yeah,
But she's doing it with a wink and a smile.
totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's disarming.
Bully. Yeah, I love it.
And I think this playful dynamic that they have, between Jake and Sarah,
Huh.
it really allows them to kind of address this potentially sensitive topic without things getting too heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like they can keep it light.
exactly. And it speaks volumes about the trust and comfort they share. They're not walking on eggshells around each other.
Right.
They can joke about these things.
And also, I think it shows their personalities a little bit.
Yeah.
Like the fact that Jake's even curious about
Yeah.
how she would react
Yeah.
shows that he wants to understand.
Yeah. He's interested.
Yeah, he's interested.
He's not afraid to ask.
Yeah, and that she's so quick-witted
Uh-huh.
and, has these kind of strategic responses.
Yeah.
I think that shows her confidence too.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
does. And it makes me think about this concept of attachment styles.
Ah.
Have you heard of that?
Oh, yeah.
Like secure versus anxious attachment.
Yeah.
And I think Sarah's response really suggests a secure attachment style.
Interesting.
She feels confident in the relationship
Uh-huh.
and she doesn't perceive this hypothetical situation as a major threat.
Like it's not going to rock her world.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it makes you wonder, how
That's-
people with different attachment styles
Yeah.
might react in this scenario.
I was just going to say,
Yeah.
like if someone was anxious.
Yeah, someone with an anxious attachment style
Uh-huh.
might feel way more threatened
Oh, yeah, for sure.
and react with more insecurity
Totally.
or clinginess,
Yeah. So knowing yourself and your partner's style
right?
can be helpful.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it can give you insights into why you might be feeling a certain way
totally.
and help you communicate your needs more effectively.
So now
Mhm.
Jake doesn't stop there.
He doesn't.
He flips the script
Oh,
and asks Sarah, okay, how would you react if you saw me talking to another girl?
no, that's interesting.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So he wants to know the other side of the coin.
He's curious.
Yeah.
And this is where the conversation takes a turn.
Okay.
And we see a different side of Sarah's approach. Instead of this playful banter,
Right.
she gets straight to the point.
What does she say?
She says she would casually lean in
Oh my God.
and ask the girl,
Uh-huh.
"So what's your favorite thing about my boyfriend?"
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
She is good.
It's direct,
Yeah.
it's confident,
Uh-huh.
and it's totally disarming.
Yeah.
She's not afraid to assert herself and her relationship,
Right.
but she does it in a way that's open and non-confrontational.
I love that.
Yeah.
This is such a good example
I think so.
of how to
Ah.
handle jealousy in a healthy way.
Yeah.
It's not passive aggressive.
Yeah.
It's not accusatory.
Right.
It's just
Straight up.
Yeah, straight up communication.
Yeah, it's a powerful approach. That really emphasizes self-respect and confidence.
Yes.
And it also invites the other person into a conversation rather than shutting them down.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, let's talk about this.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, let's be real here.
Yes.
You know?
Totally.
What's going on?
I love it.
Yeah.
That's brilliant.
It's refreshing to see a couple handle it like that.
Yeah.
You know?
For sure.
It's not something you see every day.
No, definitely not.
Yeah.
I think this is going to be a really interesting deep dive.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Excited to see where it goes.
Me too. Me too.
Yeah.
I think what strikes me is just how much Sarah's approach in both scenarios is just like about communication
Right.
and self-awareness. Like she's clearly thought about
Yeah.
how she would react,
Yeah. She's not just
in these situations.
flying off the handle.
Yeah. And she's not afraid to like express her feelings and her boundaries.
Totally. It's a testament to their communication style as a couple.
Right.
You know, they've created this space
Yeah.
where they can actually talk about this stuff
Yeah.
openly and honestly without fear of judgment.
And that's so key
Yeah.
because I think so many couples
Right.
just avoid these conversations altogether.
They just sweep it under the rug.
Yeah. And then it just leads to like resentment.
Oh, totally. Resentment, misunderstandings down the road.
Big time.
It can be toxic.
Yeah.
You know, bottling up those feelings. It's like letting jealousy fester and grow into something
Right.
way bigger than it needs to be.
Yeah. It becomes this like monster under the bed.
Exactly.
And it's so interesting because like their willingness to talk about it seems to actually like strengthen their bond.
I think so too.
You know, they're acknowledging
Yeah.
that jealousy is normal.
It's a human emotion.
Right. It's human.
We all feel it
Yeah.
at some point.
And it doesn't have to be a threat in the relationship.
Exactly. It's not about eliminating jealousy altogether.
What?
It's about learning how to manage it in
Yeah.
a healthy way.
Healthy ways. Yeah.
And that's where communication and empathy come in.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you can actually talk about your feelings,
Yeah.
understand your partner's perspective,
Yeah.
you can work through those jealous feelings together.
It's not even just about talking.
Right.
It's about listening.
It's about listening and validating
Yes. Validating each other's feelings.
each other's feelings, exactly.
Yeah.
Creating that space where both partners feel heard and understood.
Yes. And it's interesting because they actually say,
Yeah.
like at one point,
Mhm.
they both agree that a little bit of jealousy
Yeah.
can be healthy.
Can actually be healthy
Yeah.
in a relationship, which sounds kind of counterintuitive,
It does.
but it makes sense when you think about it.
Yeah.
Because jealousy at its core is
Right.
about caring.
Right.
It shows that you value your partner and the
Mhm.
relationship.
It's like a little reminder
Yeah.
that you don't want to lose what you have.
Exactly. It's like a little wake-up call to be
Be
present.
present, yeah, and appreciate it.
Appreciate what you have.
Yeah.
But of course, it's all about balance.
Right.
Too much jealousy can be suffocating
Yeah.
and destructive.
Yeah, for sure.
But a little bit can actually be a sign
Uh-huh.
of a healthy, vibrant connection. You know?
Totally.
A little spice.
Yeah. And I love that they can also kind of like
Yeah.
laugh about it a little bit.
They don't take themselves too seriously.
Yeah.
They use humor to kind of diffuse any tension.
Yeah, like there's one part where Jake
Yeah.
is teasing Sarah about her
Yeah.
like analytical mind.
I remember that.
And he's like, "You're overthinking this.
Hmm.
You'd probably write a dissertation on this girl's body language."
He's like, you're going to break it down.
And she just laughs.
She's like, yeah, well, I got to gather all the data.
Right, exactly. And it's so refreshing
It is.
to see a couple approach a conversation like that
With that kind of lightheartedness.
with that lighthearted.
It shows real security
Yeah.
and trust in their relationship.
And it shows that they're not afraid to be vulnerable with each other.
Here.
Like they're willing to.
They're willing to share their insecurities
Yeah.
and laugh at themselves in the process,
Totally.
which I think is so important.
And I think that vulnerability creates such a deeper connection.
I agree.
You know, it allows them to be themselves
It does.
without that fear of judgment.
Yeah.
So I think this is a really good example
I think so too.
of healthy communication.
Yeah.
You know, they're showing us how to like address difficult emotions,
Right.
how to set boundaries,
Oh.
and how to reaffirm their commitment to each other.
All while maintaining a sense of humor and respect.
Yeah, I'm so struck by
Yeah.
the fact that they don't shy away
Yeah.
from those potentially uncomfortable moments.
They lean into them.
They lean in and they come out stronger.
And they come out stronger on the other side.
Yeah, it's like a reminder
Yeah.
that relationships aren't always smooth sailing.
No, they're not.
And that's okay.
It's about how you navigate the bumps
Right.
that truly defines the strength of your bond.
So what can our listener take away
Yeah,
from all of this?
from Jake and Sarah's experience.
Yeah.
I think the key takeaway here is that jealousy is normal.
Yeah.
It's a normal part of most relationships.
Uh-huh.
It's not something to be ashamed of
Right.
or afraid of.
Or to hide.
The key is to address it openly and honestly with your partner
Yes.
and to use it as an opportunity to actually strengthen your connection.
I love that.
Yeah. And we shouldn't forget about the importance of reassurance.
Oh, yeah.
Remember how Jake specifically reassured Sarah that he would never do anything to betray her trust?
Yes. That really stood out to me.
Yeah.
It wasn't just like a vague, oh, of course I wouldn't do that.
Right.
It was like he gave her specific reasons.
Yeah. He referenced their shared history and values, to back it up.
Yes, exactly. And that kind of concrete reassurance
Yeah.
can be so helpful.
It can really help to calm those jealous fears.
For sure.
It's not about dismissing the feeling,
Right.
but it's about addressing the underlying concern.
Yeah. And her response was interesting, too.
Oh, yeah. What did she say?
She acknowledged his reassurance,
Uh-huh.
but also kind of playfully reminded him
Yeah.
that she'd still be keeping an eye out.
She's like, don't get any ideas.
Yeah, exactly.
I love that.
It's like this balance
Yeah.
of trust.
It's about maintaining self-respect and awareness.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
It's not about being controlling
Yeah.
or suspicious.
Right.
It's about like, okay, I trust you,
Uh-huh.
but I'm also, going to be
It's
aware.
healthy to have boundaries.
It seems like their whole approach is about finding that sweet spot
Yeah.
between trust and vigilance.
Totally.
Yeah.
They trust each other deeply,
Yeah.
but they also recognize that they're individuals
Right.
with their own thoughts and feelings.
Super people.
And that's the foundation of any healthy relationship.
Yeah.
Recognizing that your partner is a separate person
Yes.
with their own experiences and perspectives, even as you build a life together.
So for our listener out there,
Yeah.
how do you and your partner navigate jealousy?
Yeah, think about the dynamics in your own relationship.
Yeah.
Can you laugh together,
Uh-huh.
even when things get a little uncomfortable?
Right. Can you have those open and honest conversations?
About what triggers those jealous feelings.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Do you feel safe expressing your vulnerabilities?
Yes, without fear of judgment or rejection.
Because Jake and Sarah have shown us
Yeah.
that open communication, a little bit of humor,
Mm-hmm.
and a whole lot of trust can turn jealousy
Right.
from a relationship minefield
Totally.
into an opportunity for growth.
Into something positive.
Yeah.
Yeah, take a page from their playbook. Start those conversations. Embrace the humor.
Yes.
And remember that a little bit of jealousy, when handled with care, can actually be a sign of a healthy, vibrant connection.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for joining us
Yeah, this was fun.
on this deep dive into the complexities of jealousy.
It was really interesting.
We hope you've learned a few things along the way,
Yeah.
and maybe you can apply some of this to your own relationships.
Yeah.
Until next time, keep those conversations flowing, those relationships thriving.
Yes.
And remember, a little bit of playful banter can go